Hello. Welcome to my cake kitchen. I'm Gladys, and over here I make simple, informative tutorials to help you navigate cake decorating easily. If you're just joining me, Tabitha, good morning. Tabitha from Oregon, who lives 20 minutes from the beach. Tabitha, it's just you and I now. If you're just joining us, thank you for being here. We're continuing our series for making a football cake. Yesterday, we covered the sphere that will go on to make the football. And today, hopefully, I am going to show you how to cover this cake and how to get the best results out of it. Look, making a football cake may seem simple, but you will find out that it is not that simple. So for those who have already been in the tutorial process, we started on Tuesday. We did yesterday. When did we start? We started on Tuesday. We did something else. Look, I'm confused. Okay, today is Friday. So we did Tuesday, we did Wednesday, we did Thursday. Today is Friday. So the football cake tutorial starts from Wednesday. So if you go back to the previous videos, you will see the first of the session allowed me to give you all the information you need before you start a football cake. And then we put the cake together. And yesterday was about covering the sphere so that we can get the best out of it, which is what you see here. Okay? Today, we are hoping to cover this sphere with fondant and then prep it ready for the football pattern. Okay? That's what we're doing today. But whilst we're at it, I have something exciting. Oh my goodness. Look, if you're just coming in, normally the lives are supposed to be way earlier than this. I should be here about 1 or 1:30. So for those I promised I would be here today and they've missed me, I am sorry, okay? But there is some drama developing that is cake related. I try not to bring drama to my channel, okay? I don't. But I think I have a very good opportunity for us to learn something that is much bigger, which is that cake making is a business, especially if you run it as a business. There is something that is required of you, your attitude, your person, handling conflict. And boy, I have a business conflict on my hands, but it's going to be a learning opportunity. We're not going to use it to bash anybody. We're going to take it apart. We're going to discuss it. We're going to see how, if you are running a business and you have a problem with a customer, how do you resolve it? It's going to be raw for me because it's developing and I don't know the resolve. But what I know I can resolve to do right now is handle it with grace and extreme professionalism, which is something that has been developing, but that's not the reason why I have been late. The reason why I've been late is that there was an unexpected leak in my house that is causing problems. A workman has been out and there's been a drill in my walls going boo, noisy. So I couldn't do anything but wait. But whilst that was happening, I still had to I still had the trouble of the developing customer issue complaint that I will be telling you all about. So today is going to be a mixed bag, even though we are going to be covering this sphere. So perhaps let me just jump right into covering the sphere because that takes a lot of boring activity. And then we will be talking about anything else that develops after. In the meantime, if you're just joining us, hello. Do consider liking the video, okay? Just like the video because look, I am not just here to tell you about cakes. I am here to inspire you, encourage you, teach you a thing or two. And more than anything, I am here to entertain you as well. So whilst you're here, do consider liking the video, registering your presence here. And let's, yeah, you know what, Tabitha? Today's session could be a better tea and cookies session. Oh my goodness, it is wild. I will tell you exactly what has happened. Like I said, we have a developing customer issue that I will be discussing with you in a moment. In the meantime, to cover the cake, we have fondant, okay? This is about 800 grams of fondant. Do you need that much? No, but I am not too pedantic to want to measure that, because the excess that will be left out of this fondant is going to be used to cut the hexagons, because the pentagons in the football cake are the black patterns, because the football is going to be a black and white. By the way, I was in Hobbycraft today Okay, I was in no, this is not a sponsored post. I went shopping, so I had money to burn. Hello, Cocktail. Hello, you're back, darling. How are you? Today we are back to Cake and Giggle with Auntie Gladys, and we are going to be covering our sphere cake, but we're also going to be delving into a little bit of Cake and Giggle because it's not a giggling matter. I'll be reading you an email I received from a customer. It's going to be so raw, you will fall down. Okay, so if you're just in the chat, hang in there with me. It's going to be fun today. Okay, let's just get to the task of covering the cake first. Okay, it is very windy. Oh my goodness, sorry darling. You know what have I done? I don't you know what, because of what has been happening, because of the leak and the lateness, I haven't been so organized. So cocktail, prawn cocktail, I was out. Look, I know it's cocktail the bad. I can't I think I'm kind of used to calling you prawn cocktail. So let's just prawn cocktail our way out of this. The tea is hot because the tea literally landed on my table. Okay, and this time it's not Blake Lively tea, it's not Justin Baldoni tea, it's not Meghan Markle tea. It is my own very personal business tea. Talk about turning the camera on yourself. Okay, but you know what, I pride myself in trying to be honest and bringing you relatable information. So even though this is a customer complaint that I have to handle professionally with grace, I think I'm just going to reflect on the subject and to inform you about what you should do. Because running a business is not just about running a business. Oh, the best advice to ever give to anyone, if you want to grow and change as a person, go run a business, sis. Ha! If people are like, my life is not going well, I don't know, go run a business. Go run a business. Don't run a business to succeed because you want money. Run a business because by wanting to succeed in business will change you. It will change your perspective about things. It will change your attitude in handling issues. It will grow you. I mean, the fights I've been having with cakes, okay, and the patience I have to develop to cover a cake over and over again is a skill that sees me through life. In that, when you're faced with a challenge, you assess the challenge. Is it worth fighting for, or is it worth giving up? And if it's worth giving up, just strip the entire fondant and do it all over again. And if you can pivot and redo something else, redo it all over again. So if I'm covering a flour cake and the fondant tears, what do? You pivot and find a way to challenge it and recreate, making the fault part of the decorating process. So there's real life relatable skills that you can take from the aspects of cake decoration to your own life. In that, if you have a relationship and this relationship is sketchy, I'm just going to cover my cake and my own business over here because today Auntie Gladys just went to church and she prayed. Oh my God. Oh, prawn cocktail. You have so much faith in me. Okay, people, thank you. I think your faith in me makes me want to be a better person because I never want to disappoint you. Look, I am a, let's see, I am a recovering people pleaser, but I've always also had a sense of boundary with me and being able to hold my own. But when that is in conflict with wanting to please people all the time, you can almost feel like being a pushover. And running a business has helped me to sort of install my boundaries in a way that are reasonable and fair, but has also provided some sort of empathy for the customer also. And by so doing, you become a well-rounded person who sees different perspectives. The sort of ideas and value systems I spout here have not always been where I have held my position. Believe me, in my 20s, I was out here wild and loud in my foolishness and its raw nature, okay? But there is grace in age. There is grace in experience. If you give yourself time Your experience will grow you if you choose to see the let me just go cover a cake, okay? Let me just go cover a cake. But yes, if you're just joining us today, the tea is going to be fun and it's going to be hot. So just hang in there. And if you're just joining us, hello, hello, hello. Put, oh, you know what? I could be. I don't know. Darling, tell me all about it, because you are my spirit person. Because some of the things you come, I look and I think, oh, that's a younger version of me. So you know what? Honestly, if I do, it has been a blessing of my life. It's not something that I at this point in time is diagnosed with. But if I woke up and I went to the GP or went for an assessment and I was told I had ADD, I will not be surprised. I'll be like, okay, thank you. What's next? Let's keep it pushing. So do you want to tell me what you saw and what ADD looks like? And I'll tell you if those are things I experienced. But the fact that you were able to observe those and probably pointing it tells me there is something there. So thanks for validating my awkward. That's just by the way. That said, don't worry. Let's get to the cake covering. And that will just be fine, okay? It will just be fine. Today, I don't know. There's something wrong with my brain today, I can tell you. There is something wrong because, oh, I've been dealing with a lot, you know. Between the leak that happened and having to kind of go and solve some issues and then dealing with this developing customer issue, it's like today the devil is trying it, okay? But I'm like, you know, let's just say a prayer. There's a song that is in my head that I've been singing in my head all day today. I'm not a gifted singer, so I wouldn't even try. Okay, but if you look for the song, you'll find it. It's on YouTube. It's a Christian song, by the way, and it says, "I draw a boundary line." Something. Oh well, whatever that song is. I haven't checked I just remember that it has something to do with the boundary line. In the mighty name of Jesus, I pray that something, you know, and that song has been a very soothing place to go today because it's been a lot. So let's get to this. And if you're just joining us, hello. Oh yeah, oh honey, I get overwhelmed a lot. But when I get overwhelmed in the past, when I do get overwhelmed, the experience of feeling overwhelmed can come across as frustration, as in expressing the overwhelm can come off as frustration. So sometimes, say if I was overwhelmed and someone is talking to me, I can feel like there's fire in my brain and I couldn't articulate it. And then it would just make me shout at you like, stop. But since I recognized that, okay, this is something that I feel, I am able to communicate to a person. Say if I'm having conflicts with you, I could tell you, you know what, right now I can't deal with this. Let me just step out for a minute. I'll be back. Okay. And if I was dealing with, say, a customer who probably for boundary reasons and for good reasons shouldn't be told, oh, actually, I'm feeling overwhelmed by you and your issues. Let me go. I will take a long pause. I stay on the principle that a long awaited good response is better than an abrupt bad response to anybody. So believe me, the long pause can lead to feeling anxious. It can lead to just a feeling of fear. But I have also learned that in that angst and fear, I am processing what is within. And by so doing, I can then respond as a better version of me. So keeping a business, doing all of that, applying logic, being empathetic, being gracefully professional, it's a skill. Okay, now let's cover this cake. Thank you, prawn cocktail. Thank you so very much. I will do, you know what, at this point in my life, I'm like, whatever it is, I have gone through life succeeding at it, okay? Now, I want to get money. I want to get like a few zeros to my bank account, okay? Because whatever it is, it hasn't stopped me succeeding. Believe me. Being stood here today and talking to you guys and doing what I do is success on its own, okay? So whatever it is, I haven't really failed. So it's like, okay, if I was younger, then yes, it'd be different. But now I'm older, it's like, I just need a label to kind of put on this thing just to validate what I'm feeling. But look, if you're if you're close to 40, you're like, life has just happened, you're fine. I'm just saying. But yes, I know a diagnosis will probably be very helpful. Let's see how that goes. Now we've rolled the fondant. The fondant has no tylose. And if you wonder what tylose is a hardening agent, except this fondant does not have tylose in it. You know what? For the I also have, okay, Tapita says she has OCD. Poor Tapita, my darling. You know what? I am very particular, but thankfully I'm not OCD. I like to keep things organized, but I am not like super like organized and OCD about it. But I know OCD can be crippling. Now, if you want to cover the sphere, which is what I see here, you might want to apply something that, a sort of glue, which could be food, edible glue and stuff like that on it to hold it. You've seen me use Trex and even water. I don't particularly like water. The simple reason being, when you use water and you attach the fondant and you have to take the fondant off, the water makes things sticky. But I have an advantage here I want to point out. The cake was kept refrigerated and I had to take it out to cover it. And for that, there is some mist formed on the cake. So that in itself can be an attaching glue for me. Look at what I've done. Okay, so you see why water is not a good thing. So we're just going to cover that. And because it's a round cake, it's fairly easy. You don't have to do anything to the fondant. You just have to guide the fondant to where it should be. And I wouldn't worry about the fondant being perfect, because remember, we will come back and cover this with the patterns. So I am just folding this cake into the bottom, the fondant into the bottom of the cake. If you're a beginner, covering a sphere like this shouldn't be hard because it doesn't require fine corners. Plus, you're going to add the patterns to cover any tears that happen. So don't be too fast. This is just a small layer to serve as a barrier for you. Okay, so that said, we have the, you can see the fondant right there. You go. So all I'm doing is just pushing the fondant to the base, and then there we have it. Can you see it's torn on the bottom, but I'm not really concerned. And by so doing, see, we've got our sphere here. If you're super concerned, you can turn it upside down and apply the fondant. But I also don't want to risk ruining this side of the cake. So what we do here is, now that we're done, look, if you're very pedantic like I like to be sometimes, you might want to polish this. But can you see how handling the fondant is fairly easy here? Yeah? So if you're a beginner and you're able to achieve your cake decorating, the football cake decorating to this point, good for you. Great place to be. What I can do is get some cling film. It is incredibly important. I can't emphasize enough how important it is that you make sure that at every stage of this cake decorating process, the cake can keep its form. That is really, 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 really important. Okay, so with that, I've got a small bit of fondant. Because this is a shaped cake, there's nothing you can do other than just keep polishing it. And make sure you keep it in one place, okay? Do not do anything other than just keeping it.
Hello? No live?
We are on a live, producer.
Sorry.
It's okay. You're welcome.
Hi everybody.
Hiya. Producer, big producer says hiya everybody. There you go. Yeah. Prawn Cocktail said, I saw you left your pot cake for a week before. Yes, I did. Because it was made from a scrap cake. The vase. The flour vase cake. Yes, it was made from scrap cake. So it was just hard. It was just hard for me to let it go. But I brought it back on a live and then we cut it. So yeah, that was it. Mini Kali, hello darling, how are you? Welcome to the stream. Now, what do you think about the sphere cake? Do you think we did a good job, people? Those of you who have been here, what do you think we've done good here? Because it looks like my fear of the bottom part collapsing is almost like not a thing. I am just wary not to do anything that will so all I'm doing is polishing the cake. Thank you, Prawn Cocktail, you were so kind. Okay, so I think sometimes the skill of cake making is to know when to stop, okay? And at this point, I think we need to stop because, like I said, the white layer here is only a barrier, okay? We are going to do the patterns on it. But like I told you, we're running late for this tutorial. Plus, there is more information we will be discussing on the subject of dealing with business, handling customer complaints, and being a better business owner. So I'm going to put this in the fridge. I'm not going to bother myself with the pattern cutting today. I'm probably going to mix some Tylers into the white bits, leave it to set, and perhaps we'll be back tomorrow to do the pattern and the board, which will be the end of the tutorial for the entire week. But whilst we're at it, can we talk about what has been developing, people? Okay? And simply what has been developing . Right. If you've been on this channel, okay, there's 24 of you here, but I can only see 4 likes. People, look, YouTube is about numbers. I appreciate you for being here. And if you want to sit on the fence quietly and mind your business, I respect that. But you know what? You need to register for YouTube to know that you have been here and perhaps you have had a great experience. So do me a favor, like the video, okay? Perhaps join the community here. We may not be your cup of tea, that is fine. But you'll find out very quickly, even though we are not for everybody, we like to have fun with everybody. So you're welcome. Join us if you're new, right? That says Edible Elegance Cake Studio. Welcome to the stream. Okay, so if you're just joining us, thank you, Prawn Cocktail. You said you liked my cardigan. Look, I like to show up here consistently in a uniform, which is why I normally have a white t-shirt. It's intentional because I want to create continuity and consistency. So you see me just as the figure who represents cake decoration, especially with the scarf too. It's by intention. I don't look like this when I'm going to church, you know. No, actually half of the time I do. But some days I just like to look. Okay, that's just by the way. Look at me going off on a tangent. Let's come back. So if you're just joining us, there is Edible Elegance Cake Studio. Edible Elegance Cake Studio, welcome to the stream. Great to have you. You're having a great time, are you? If you're having a great time, let's see a heart emoji or a hands up emoji just to register your presence. Thank you for being here, okay? Continuity, AD. Prawn cocktail, I love you. Okay. That's it. So when I show up different, I'm like, do they know who I am? Like, you know what? I love feeling different sometimes. Okay, let's go on. So if you're just joining us, all of you, welcome. We're supposed to be making a cake, a football cake, and this is a developing tutorial. We've covered the cake in fondant. We are going to be making the patterns for the football cake a little later, which will be tomorrow. But as part of today's tutorial, we're not just doing football cake, okay? We're going to be talking about an issue that is developing in my life, because I don't just make cake. I'm a cake business owner, okay? I run this as part of the business, but actually I do have a business where I make cakes for customers, okay? So if you were here last week, show by hand who was here last weekend when we made the cupcakes. Show by hands. Show by hands if you were here. You need this cardie, honey. You know what? It's an old tattered cardie. Otherwise, I would have just saved it for you. Okay, I'm sure it would have fit you. But it's an old tattered cardie. Okay, I think I bought it from H&M years ago. So I don't discard things. Show by hands if you were here last week. Okay, right. If you were here last week, we made the cupcakes. Remember, was it last Thursday when we baked the cake? If you go back to our lives, you will see. We baked a cake using one recipe, and the same recipe made cupcakes, okay? That is what we did here. You went here. So for those of you who went here last week, sometimes whilst I make customer cakes, some days I come and I use the cake making processes as forms of tutorials. So sometimes I have designated tutorials like the one we are doing exclusively for tutorials. And some days I come and I make customer cakes as part of the process, and we see it as tutorials. Those ones are a little more stringent because I have to adhere to some practices because it's customer. But when we're talking about some of the freedom I have to exercise creativity are just limited to the cakes that do not go out to customers. So for instance, the cakes I am making, including this football cake we are making, is a customer, it's from scrap cake, so it's more tailored for the tutorial, so there is freedom to do some things a little easily, if you know what I mean. That said, the cake and cupcakes, part of the cupcakes were customer cupcakes, okay? And the cake was actually for a baby shower. I would come back the next day, I think on Tuesday when I came back, I did say the baby shower was a surprise for a church event. So if you go back to that video, you will see that in that video, I said it's for a church event. I couldn't discuss the subject of the baby shower because it was supposed to be a surprise. And some of my church folk watch me over here. So I was worried that if I said anything, the would-be mother would see the video and I would ruin the surprise. So if you go back to that video, you will see I said in the video, oh, I'm baking this cake for a church event. But I was also baking the cupcakes. I'm not sure I spoke about the details of the cupcakes, but the cupcakes were partly for a customer and also for this church event. Now that detail will matter. Fast forward the cupcakes. In fact, if you go to my community post, you will also see some of the cupcakes that were made. So watch this video, go back to my community post, and then you will see some visual representations of these random subjects I'm discussing. So we made the cakes on the live, some parts of it, and then I come back and I post some of the photos on my community post. Nothing in reference to the customers or anything. I just put on there my weekend in cake form. So you will see the baby shower cake, the cupcakes, and these customer cupcakes that went out. Okay, fast forward. These cakes went out on Saturday. Fast forward to yesterday afternoon when I was making the live. Okay, we were out here yesterday on a live. All right, fast forward yesterday, I was here on the live. I bet most of you are going to get to it. What is the tea here, honey? Wait, this tea will excite you. This is the message I got. I'm going to read it directly, but I'm going to blur out or kind of skip any details of the customer, any identifying details. So bear that in mind. But this is an actual message I received. I'll post it when this is all, I'm telling you now, but when it's all over, because it's a developing story, but when it is over, I will post the details on the community post for you to see. But remember, I just need to set my intention here clearly that this is talking about this or bringing this to a live. It's not to weaponize an audience against this customer. It is just a learning opportunity to bring you behind the scenes, what we have to deal with as business owners, and sometimes the lessons you can take with you when handling issues in your own life, or even better if you're a business. So I need to state that intention clear, because actually as a business, my value system is that I never want to discuss customers, even if they were dead wrong. Okay, even if they were dead wrong, because I find it unfair that if you were here watching me as a person and you enjoy what I do, you have a bias for me, which is that even if I'm so dead wrong, you'll be forced under certain circumstances to defend me or make excuses for me. Okay, for that reason, it's almost like it's a value system of mine not to bring customer issues. Thankfully, I don't have them, okay? In my 7 years of running my business professionally, I have had one that ended up resolving itself greatly. I've discussed that here on, actually, I've had two, but one of which ended up well, so well, in fact, I discussed it in a video. Remember, if you go back to my videos, you will see in my video, I discussed a wedding cake that I made, and the bottom ended up not being well. The customer brought it to my attention. I tried to resolve it with them. They were so amazing. Look, that issue was so resolved so well that eventually I even offered the bride a cake for free. A cake that was worth over £300 for free, okay? Because they were worth it. Sometimes it's not about the money, it's not about the principle, it's not even about a fight, because the fight is based on defending yourself and your ego. But if you put all that to the side, you ask yourself, what is humanity here? What is empathy here? What does the customer need? Okay, if you can assume the customer's position, you can solve the problem for better outcomes. And as a business owner, that is my position. I do not care how wild this customer is acting out here. Some days I have to pop out and show. Okay, but even when I pop out and show, it is very professional. It is like, okay, I'm not going to come down to your level even if you're acting out. And you have those occasionally. I have been incredibly blessed to run a business where I have people who have higher standards and treat me accordingly. So I don't have those issues. But today is one of those where you're like, okay, somebody tried it. Okay, so we're going to look at the message, and the intention is to look at the context of the message, my feelings about it, and how I handle this moving forward. My intention is that based on this, you can learn a thing or two and take it with you, so that when you are challenged by a problem where you feel like you are even in the right, you can stop and take a breather and say, what can I do differently? Does that make sense? So that is the only intention for which I discuss this. That said, let me get in the chat and see what you guys are saying. Oh. Naziha, thank you. Okay. I don't know what energy I'm giving, but I hope it's good energy, and I hope you receive that well. Okay. Great to have you here today, and welcome to the stream. Okay. Look, prawn cocktail, you know a lot of people. Okay. You were talking about Oregon and that man who runs a cult. Prawn cocktail, I love you. Okay. Because you know quite a few things that actually excites me. There is Mini Cali, hello there. And yeah, okay. So There's Edible Elegance Cake Studio. Edible Elegance Cake. Oh, there is Sumani. Sumani, hello. All of you who are in the chat, thank you. Thank you for being here. So let's jump right into the message the customer sent. So I've given you context to where the cupcakes came from. The cupcakes were a larger batch from the same bake, part of which went to a baby shower and part of the baby shower and this cupcake. So here, this message was received yesterday during the live, but I didn't see it until I was done with the live. So here's the message. You want to take a seat, drink a cup of tea if you need it, and listen. It said, it didn't, okay, I'm going to read the message and now give you my opinion, okay? Here's the message. My mom ordered cupcakes for my 50th. They were delivered on Saturday. She follows with the address details. So I'm going to skip that. That's the part. That's identifying information. So I've skipped that, right? So she said they were disgusting. I'm gonna try and get through this. They were disgusting, very dry and stale. They had honey. Okay, listen. Like I said, I'm gonna try and get through this without losing my head, okay? They were disgusting, very dry and stale. Yes, this is an email. So I'm actually reading you an email. And like I said, I will post the email later when this is eventually resolved, okay, on the community post. I can't do that now. I can discuss it with you because I've told you the intention for discussing it. And because it's developing, because this hasn't been resolved yet. I received this yesterday, so it's developing. So I'm keeping you updated. So this is an actual email. The unedited version, which only excludes identifying details, is what I'm reading to you. So it says, they were disgusting, very dry and stale. Had a strange aftertaste, and the icing had a strange oil in it that it coated my lips and teeth, which made me feel ill. My granddaughter was actually ill and no one ate them after one bite. Even the birds wouldn't eat them. I was hugely disappointed after my mom had made such effort. They were worse than the shop-bought ones. Therefore, I request a full refund for my mother. I have kept one cake as an example if I need to take my complaint further. I hope this issue can be resolved quickly. I was just hoping this is a bad batch. Lollipop. There's drama in my cake life. So I'm reading an email I received from a customer. Okay? That's the end of the email. I'll read the email again and I'm going to keep my thoughts for a minute when I... Okay. It says again, my mom ordered cupcakes for my 50th. They were delivered on Saturday. They were disgusting, very dry and stale. Had a strange aftertaste, and the icing had a strange oil in it that coated my lips and teeth which made me ill. My granddaughter was actually ill and no one ate them after one bite. Even the birds wouldn't have them. I was hugely disappointed after my mom had made such an effort, and they were I was hugely disappointed after my mom had made such an effort. They were worse than shop-bought ones. Therefore, I request a full refund For my mother, I have kept one cake as an example. If I need to take my complaint further. I hope this issue can be resolved quickly. I hoping this was, I guess she's saying, I am hoping this was a bad batch. Maria, thank you for being here. Okay? Maria, thank you so much for being here. And yeah. So, people, I'm going to need you all here, and I need all your attention here, okay? Did you catch the message we read? Maria, prawn cocktail. My dear, that is the message I received. So let me talk you through. I told you I was going to read you the message. The only edit to the message is the identifying details. But otherwise, that was exactly the message I received. I'm going to talk you through what I felt receiving this message, where I am at, and then I'm going to give you my response to this message, right? So you can see, this is opinion, by the way. You can see the message didn't open with any greeting. It didn't open with any tact. It just went straight in and came at me about how the cupcake felt and the entire experience. They supported their experience by naming or raising a concern about the fact that they were ill, and rather seriously, their granddaughter being ill also. Okay, these are very concerning, right? For want of a better word, they even elevated the seriousness of their concern by attaching that to the fact that a bird wouldn't even eat the cupcake. Note rather importantly that she says no one ate them after one bite. That is important. She goes on quickly to demand a refund for her mother and hopes that this is just a bad batch. Now, what do you think I felt receiving this message? If you're in the chat, what do you think I felt receiving this message? You know what, Lollipop, you're my person. Understandably, I was like gutted. My immediate primary feeling was I was just horrified by the fact that, oh, I am disappointed. But my disappointment is very directional. It is very contextual. I was just disappointed that as a business owner, my point of view is to impress the customer. The customer's experience is important to me. The customer's value in paying for an item from me is incredibly important to me. Okay? Because not only am I here to serve them, their business keeps me in business. So it's, even though it's a transactional relationship, for selfish reasons, it's important to me. And no matter what her concern is, even if she hadn't come at me with such rude and less tactful complaint, I would still be disappointed. Even if she came back, she's like, you know what, out of the X number of cupcakes, one didn't turn out well, I would still be gutted. So I had to be clear on what I was disappointed about. Now, am I disappointed that she was less tactful and she probably approached me in a way that was short of respect, empathy, and kindness? Yes, hugely disappointed. But the truth is, she doesn't owe me anything. I don't know her. She doesn't know me. What we have in common is a transaction that hasn't met her expectation. And I'm only telling you this because when I got that message yesterday, I spent the entire evening trying to kind of settle and process my thoughts before I had anything to say. So having this conversation with you is coming on the back of introspection and processing this so that I can show up and handle this with professionalism. So when you receive a message like this, yes, understandably, you will be gutted. Understandably, you want to go and defend yourself. But what are you defending? Are you defending your honor? Or you defending your ego that is probably bruised because the expectation you hope to meet to a customer wasn't satisfied? What are you defending? Because I can go and say, oh, hang on, you were less respectful and very not so tactful, and your message is in fact rude. But that's an emotional response. She doesn't owe me anything. I could be a goat walking the streets, and all she knows is that she spent money and she doesn't feel she got value for that money. And that feeling is made a lot more complex and more difficult in her eyes because her old age mom, she's 50. I can only imagine how much her mother is. She's definitely not 60 and she's not 70, unless perhaps she had a teenage baby. Okay? So I can only assume an age for her mom that I can only perceive as elderly. And this is my opinion, by the way. Okay? So her elderly old age mom, okay, bought cupcakes for her and she doesn't feel like they were worth the money. So her message only reflects the feelings that in a mature and measured way, she should have processed that and then approached me in a mature way to say, you know what? I don't know you, but you are human, I assume, and I'd like to assume a decent position for you because I'm decent and I'm not going to lash my disappointment at you. I am just presenting you information to say, hiya, you know what, did you make the cupcakes? And if you made it, I'm disappointed because A, B, C are the reasons. But you can't expect, you know, mature reactions from people. You don't know them. You don't know their experience. You don't know what has affected them in life. You don't know their point of view. You don't know how they handle disappointment. So I can't even begin to fight her on an emotional level. Now, what do I think about the complaint? I'll keep my opinion to myself. Do I think it's valid? I don't know. I know that I have evidence to show that I made the cupcakes, and if they showed up as I made them on the live, talking you through all the ingredients and the yield was good, plus I have the advantage of the fact that they were part of a larger batch, half of which went to a baby shower, for which I have received positive feedback. And the positive feedback is right here. Thank you so much, darling. I'll skip identifying details here. Thank you so much, darling, from okay, thank you so much, my darling, for blessing me, my husband and child. I'm not naming the husband and child. That's identifying information, but I'm summarizing that part. So thank you so much, darling, for blessing me, my husband and child with such yummy big cake and lovely cupcakes. So you see where I'm headed with this. I have the evidence of somebody who had a completely different experience. But is that positive experience the same as this person who is having this negative experience? No. Does the positive experience negate the negative experience? No. You know why? Because it's food. It is food. People, the taste of food is very, very subjective. For you to succeed as a business owner, you have to assume the position that people have very complex palates. People have specific taste preferences. I mean, if we are making an argument for how unique each individual is from this walk of life, then how they taste and prefer and enjoy their food is different. So yes, does my 10 years of experience count as a baker? Definitely. Does my experience as a baker who is invested in the science, who preaches about the quality of ingredients count? Yes. Does that negate a customer showing up and being like, whatever you did, even if it was the best thing you ever did, I don't care and I didn't have a great experience? Can I uphold that and say to them, actually, I am sorry you had a bad experience? Definitely, yes, I can do that. And that is because even if I have made them a cake and I've put in my best effort, I have to assume that they may not like it. So even after nearly 7 years as a professional cake making business, I'll tell you this today, I never assumed the position that my product is the best on the market, even though my attitude at approaching it is to provide the best knockout product. I never walk into making a cake believing that my cake is the best. That judgment is exclusively the customers to make. And I am so blessed to have customers who feedback that to me. But that hasn't gotten in over my head that I walk on this, like I feel like I walk special thinking, oh, everybody thinks, because you know what? The next customer is also going to judge you without any... There is no threshold. The only threshold they have is that if you have a business that has positive reviews, yes, it might inform them to kind of have some confidence in your credibility. But otherwise, they are completely in charge of how they judge your food. And so for that, I take my customer experience extremely, I am extremely... it is something that is extremely important to me. And if I say extremely one more time, put a penny in my jacket. Hi, Jack. Jacqueline, hiya. Okay. So for that reason, when I received this message, I was like, okay, I had to go through all these feelings to say, this can't be true. This may not be right. Oh, maybe they just want to get money back. Whatever they're thinking, it is not my position to challenge their experience. What I have to do is that step into their shoes, see their experience, and see how I can mitigate this. Okay? So this took me all yesterday evening, but because I was feeling a little bit unsettled about it, I'm like, I am not going to respond as long as I feel unsettled. I am not. So I left it. And boy, today, did I respond? Yes, I did. Okay? Now, I'm going to read you my response. And then I'm going to tell you why I responded the way I did. And I'm going to tell you where my heart posture is. As long as this is involved, you know. Yeah, so I'm going to read you my response, and let's remember that the intention for doing this is to sort of bring a perspective that is only going to, like, it's going to be a teachable or a learning experience for all of us. I feel disappointed, but I don't have hate or I don't have any negative feeling towards the customer. I'm like, this is an issue, let's just handle it. Okay, that's my heart posture, and I'm not even pretending about it. It's like, it's a nothing burger. Like, there are big things in life. Customer over here raising an issue, I will tell you, when I read my response, I will tell you why, even with my best intention, I could easily give them a refund for what they bought. I will lose nothing for just giving them the money if that is what they want. I will tell you why I can't do that in this situation. I'll tell you why, and I'll tell you where my heart posture is, and then we will see as it develops. I will keep you updated, and then we'll take it from there as it happens. Okay? Thank you, Naziha. Naziha can tell. Naziha prawn cocktail. Yeah, it's a lot to process. So it was like, okay, I'm not going to respond. So what did I do? Well, I do have a cake, professional cake making group where sometimes you can go and ask your cake making people like for support and hand holding. So that is to say that sometimes even as a professional, you should recognize when you need help, right? So I honestly went and I asked and I provided the information as it's needed for them to make a judgment on. The resounding feedback was that it's bogus. The customer is, there should be due process, and that I should handle it professionally. But you know what? That is the summary feeling of the group. But most of them are business owners, and some of them do run cake businesses. So perhaps more often than not, they have had an experience like that or two. And much of them were like, girl, it's just, you know. But I also had to stay at a place where I am not outsourcing my complete agency to them, where they are detecting what I should do. Because whilst I went to the group, I had to determine, or I had to be clear why I am asking for help and what help I am asking for. Am I asking for help because I want someone to tell me what to do, or I am asking for help so that I can see clearly, which is part of trying to process this mentally before handling the complaint. And the latter was true for me. I wanted a perspective that will help me process and let me see clearly. So more often than not, with business owners who probably are more advanced in their experience, if they can look at this objectively, knowing that they have no emotion attached to this, they have no loyalty to me, they don't know me, they can look at it and be like, girl, this is really not a big deal. Maybe this is what you should do. And much of them, their responses were measured. Some went out of their way to even type me their preferred response to dealing with such issues. So it ended up confirming to me what I should do, but in my own way, instead of just allowing someone to dictate how I should react or respond to an incident. Now, the teachable moment is that whenever you're challenged with an issue that you feel you need help from, more often than not, we outsource our agency to that helping individual so they can sort of shoulder the blame, so that it negates our own responsibility if the results are not suitable. But more often than not, you have complete agency in most things that will befall you. And sometimes the tough thing to do is that you don't have the answer. You're going to have to try and find out the wrong way, or you're going to trust your instincts and not let fear lead you. So throughout yesterday, I took time to process all of this, whilst also looking at the measured responses from the various professionals who wanted to guide me. And with that in mind, and my morning developing into some sort of like homely chaos over here, I decided to respond. And I'm going to be reading my response to you. Okay, this is what I said to them. This is what I said to them. And I'm reading you exactly what I said to them, the entire email, right? So I said, good day. Let's call this let's call them customer, okay? So I responded, I said, good day, dear customer. I am Gladys, the business owner who made your mother's cupcakes, right? I trust this email finds you well. I read your email with disappointment, not just for you and your experience, but also for your mom who bought the cupcakes for celebrating your milestone birthday. She was so kind, sweet she was so kind and sweet during the entire ordering process, and even intimated she was excited to have the cupcakes just for you. For that, I went above and beyond to reward her purchase, details of which I could only reveal if necessary. And yes, that is true. The mother, remember, it's not the customer who is making the complaint. It's the customer's child, Remember that, because that matters. Okay? So, when I was dealing with the complainant's mother, who is actually the customer she's an elderly person. She was really nice. And I'd like to think when you're dealing with an elderly person and you have good value system and morals, you are inclined to just help them. Okay? So not only did I treat them as a customer, but I assumed the position of somebody who actually does require my help and assistance. And I went out of my way to do that for them. But I couldn't discuss these details with their daughter, who is raising a complaint. But I make a point of that, and I'll tell you why. I said, whilst I appreciate my efforts may not negate your concerns raised, I make a point of this to support the simple fact that as a business, my customers' best experience is extremely important to me, for which I do my absolute best. I am extremely concerned by the details of your experience, and I hope this can be resolved in the best and satisfactory way following all due process. With much consideration for your disheartening experience, I wish I could discuss the next steps forward with you regarding this matter. Unfortunately, this is not possible due to my terms of business, which prohibits discussing customer details with third parties. I suggest, though, you tell your mother to contact me with her complaint ASAP, even if it's on your behalf. Following that, I will set about the process to resolve this matter quickly. I also wish to let you know it is extremely important that you keep the one cupcake left safely, as it will be required should I have to make a referral to my local environmental health officer regarding your experience. Now, if you require guidance on how to preserve this cupcake, please let me know. And please know that this is only required, this part of the process is only required because you raised the concern about you feeling ill and your granddaughter being unwell. And whilst I understand this may have been difficult, unless supported by evidence of a medical issue directly related to the cupcakes, I cannot take responsibility for the cupcakes being the cause of the illness. Thankfully, for your reassurance, as part of my business practices, I occasionally do film some of the cake making processes for the purposes of tutorials, and if necessary, I can provide evidence to support the making of the cupcakes and the ingredients used, which includes a larger batch. The rest of the cupcakes were for a baby shower, for which I have received positive feedback about taste and experience. I trust, though, this message is received in good faith, whilst I am hopeful for a reasonable and fair resolution to this matter quickly. What am I missing in the chat? Well, Sultan, so, right, if you caught my message, leave a leave a wave in the chat. Right. So that was my response. Like I said, I think I'm going to dedicate a cake and chat, as in cake and giggle, on a different live another day in the future when this is eventually resolved, so that we can talk about some of the behind the scenes about businesses, what you have to do when you have an issue. But if you can go back and listen to my response, that is if you're just joining us, it should give you context. Now, I'll talk you through why I did that. But before I say anything about my response, I'll tell you the reason why. If you've seen some of my content and videos in the past, especially in short form, where I am a little bit short and unapologetic about how cake makers are treated, it goes down to stuff like this. I'll tell you why. The idea that a cake maker or a custom cake service being home-based is actually legitimate and entitled to a legal and professional transactional relationship is kind of lost on people, more so the customer, because most customers think either people are just showing up and baking illegally, or people are just trying to make a buck or two from their hobbies. So we are all lumped in the same bucket, which devalues our skill and derides our well-established businesses. So when it comes to dealing with customers and sometimes having to almost like pander to customers who naturally are just looking to devalue you and your business, I have no tolerance. I have no patience. I'm done. Okay, you want a discount for your cake? Goodbye. I don't have time for this, okay? You want to waste my time by asking questions where you want to take out you are trying to ask me why am I expensive without asking. So you're like, can I do this? Oh, can I buy this for you so you can make the cake? I don't do any of that. I don't have patience for you. Be gone. The market is so saturated. If you think I'm expensive, there will be someone who will be cheaper, and I'm not even mad about that person. Okay, our goals may be different, because if I wake up and I put my skill and experience into making that cake and I'm charging you 140, 300 pounds for it, and you believe you can get the same cake next door for 80 quid, goodbye. I'm not even mad. I will even embrace that neighbor who is selling the cake for it, because I'm like, we are two different people. Because you know what's important to me? The skill, the confidence, and taking pride in the value I am giving you in the product is important. And if you haven't noticed, go back and watch some of my videos, okay? It's important to me. I obsess about cakes like nobody's business. Does the customer really care? No, the customer wants to pay cheap money for it, and that's okay. It's where possible and it's worth it. I give it to them. Why not? But I am not arguing with a customer who doesn't share my value system, because you know what is also true? Whilst one customer is telling me I am expensive, another customer is paying. Now, are they all repeat customers? No. But it means that I can sell my cake to the customer who values me, and then I can spend the rest of the time creating content to provide more value to another person who is looking after my son. That is what is important to me. But the person who is selling a cake for 80 pounds, I don't know their business. I don't know their action plan. I don't know what is influencing their pricing. I cannot be mad at them. So I say that to say there is room for everybody to exist, but you have to value your lane. And the teachable moment yet again is that in life, know your value, defend your place, and stick in your lane. Don't be bothered about that content creator who is succeeding more than you. Because you know what, you know something, you may not know what they are losing to create content and to be successful. Maybe they have an editor, maybe they have somebody on hand, maybe they have a partner who is partnering with them. You cannot compare yourself with someone who has more resources than you. Of course, if they have resources and they are committed and they are refining their skills, they are going to be a lot more successful quicker than you would. But if you're a one-person business like I am and you have to do everything, it's going to be a slower process, but trust the process and keep going. So I say that to say businesses are not the same, and as people, we are not the same, and we are not playing the same game, and we are not holding the same standards. People are different with different experiences. So for that reason, I look at this customer and I think to myself, even though I feel this way, my measured response to them is set in the fact that even though their message to me was less than respectful, I cannot stoop down to a level where I'm disrespecting them back. My value system is to be professional. So how am I going to do that? I'm going to do that by responding to them professionally, which is what I did. By the way, the tangent about a business being legitimate also comes with responsibility. Okay, you have business insurance. You have business insurance to pay, okay? Not only business insurance, you have, if you are running your business right and you are keeping track of the expenses and income that is going, you're going to wake up one day and be like, am I doing this for free? And if you want to become a successful income earning business, at some point, it will bite you for you to charge what you are worth. Now, what you are worth is relative. So I am not telling you how much you should charge, but definitely don't come at me how much I should charge. For that reason, if you're a customer and you paid for a cake from me, trust that I'm going to do my best. With that said, not only are you supposed to have business insurance, you're supposed to go through your EHO who comes to your home to inspect your home before giving you a rating that adds credibility, that you are aware of food safety practices and you have met the standard required to be able to run a food business at home. I say that to say those things matter. Business insurance, public liability insurance, because you have to cover yourself for when there is an incident and you have to probably make a claim, or the customer has to. All these equipments that you use have to be insured. Those will come out of your business running cost, whether a customer is buying a cake month to month or it's a slow period where no orders are taken. So I say that to say, when you have somebody who has just sprung up, and I'm not looking down on beginners, I am pointing out a simple fact of running a cake business. Was it easy to get here? No. After 10 years, have I made the transition? Yes. And even so, I will tell you, selling cakes is not my actual business. I do it now, but it's not where I don't want to be 40, 50 and be selling cakes. It requires a lot out of me. I have to show up, I have to make the cake, and that relies on me. So if I'm not here, I don't have a business. So I have to figure out a way to diversify, which means that thankfully with the skill I have, I can put that forward to something else. So teaching here is part of my diversification process, okay? So that I don't wake up one day and feel like if I have a broken ankle or a broken wrist, I can't roll fondant. What am I going to do? So all of that is in support of the fact that cake businesses are not just people just showing up in the corner and getting a bag for nothing. People have to start from somewhere. And if that is where you are, I am not talking down at you. I am not coming at you. I give you grace. But the whole principle of customers just thinking they can push their way through and devalue established businesses simple because they think or assume that the business is illegitimate is just dead wrong. And I think from my response, you will find out that I was handling this as a legitimately confident, registered business who is supported by the knowing of the responsibility I have to uphold. Giving food to another person is serious business. Serious business in that if something went wrong and they died, you carry a responsibility with that. It has to be taken seriously on every professional standards. I am getting animated. So you know what? I want to be able to have a conversation about this subject matter when I am not animated, where I can provide you the information with such clarity and devoid of emotion. But because this is developing and it touches a nerve for me, because the nerve that it is touching is that I am just annoyed at how much our industry as artists is so devalued that any and every person just want to threaten you by wanting to come at your reputation. Because I tell you what, when I received this email, a few things ran through my head. I'm like, oh God, I can't deal with this. Even if it's a bogus complaint, I want to give them the money and go about my business. That would have been, whilst that would have been a good response to have, because by so doing, I'm nipping it in the bud. What it is doing is that it is playing into my fear, because I'm thinking, oh, if I don't give them the money, they might want to raise a Google review and say something about, and I want to protect that. Okay, that is a fear reaction. And by so doing, you know what? I am not standing up for the values of my business. I am not defending the next person who might not have the confidence to face this in the appropriate and measured way. So I had to process all of that to come to the point where my response is very measured and professional, not because it just is. It is because as a business, I don't just have business insurance and all of this. I also have an established, a well-established, well-worded terms and conditions. Like the ordering a cake from me is not, unless you're my friend or somebody I know that I am giving a cake to, ordering a cake with customers is a completely different process. I have to ask you questions about your allergy and food preferences, note that, derive a customer, what you call an order summary, so that you can read the detail of your cake description, okay it back to me, and then I put that on an invoice. And when the invoice goes out with attaching relevant bank details, it also has a copy of my terms and conditions, which is linked for you to read, so that by making payment to purchase from me, you are also in tandem agreeing to my terms and conditions, which are written and handed to you at the point of purchase. So when you have a customer who shows up and tells you that out of 18 cupcakes, they said it was so bad, no one ate it. And yet they are telling you only one is left. Where did the rest go? Where? Because according to your own words, she said no one ate it. Like, no, it was so bad, no one could. Where did the rest go? You would think that if your granddaughter ate a cupcake that made them poorly, you would be straight down the phone screaming and swearing and yelling at whoever made your granddaughter poorly. Where is that? Where is the rest of the cupcake? And where is the reaction? You wait 6 days later and watch the part where there was no room for discussion about, you know what? I am so sorry. This may not have been the experience we expected, but we don't imagine this being easy for you. Can we discuss this for a better result? They went straight to, can I have a refund? As if the ingredients and every effort that went into this cupcake, supposing the experience is invalid. It's just somebody saying, you know what, I don't care how much you spent making this cake. I have eaten it. I just want money back because I really don't feel like it was worth the amount I paid for. Businesses work so hard. We give our all. Look, you could go and buy cake from a shop. It will never be the same as somebody who puts their name to an item for you. Know why? Because it's more than a cupcake. It's a piece of my heart. It's a piece of something I love to give. Should you care about that? No. If you're paying, you shouldn't care. But for me, it matters. So if you're making a complaint, better be justified. But that said, I identify right now that this whole subject is making me a little bit animated. So I'm gonna leave that the rest of it, right? And then on the next live, probably we'll discuss it. But because it's a developing issue, I might probably in the future, once it's finally resolved, come back and talk to you about it. I would have been better settled. I would have a different perspective to it, because trust me, it is always better the next day. It is always better. Because by the next day, you feel better. You feel like, this is a nothing burger. And this will probably not go anywhere anyway. No, I sent them the refund. I sent them the response. Because there are a few things in my response that I probably haven't explained. My response was targeting as following the processes of business. As a business owner, I cannot be discussing business information and details with a third party. Okay, there's a limitation to how much. The mom hasn't passed away because of the cupcakes. Nothing bad has happened for the mom to not be able to talk to me. Okay, so it's extremely important that if this complaint is valid, the mother should be talking to me, because the mother is the customer. Okay, so in the message, you will notice that I said, get your mom to talk to me. So if the mother comes to me, then we will start looking at the process of dealing with this. But right now, I can't even offer her a refund, because there is, in my terms and conditions, there is a stipulation and a threshold documented for what you need to do when you have a valid complaint, which is that if the cake is bad, so much that you have concern about taste, you should return up to half of the value of half of the quantity of the cakes, right? That is stipulated in the terms and conditions. Okay, you should contact me immediately. Reasonable time within 24 to 48 hours. And that's because it's a reasonable suggestion that if you have such serious concerns, you will be quick down to the cake maker. Because when I got the cake sent off, the cake had labels that had my business name and contact details. So if you had such dire concern, you would be able to reach me ASAP about all of this. Okay, so the terms and conditions states that, you know what, we uphold every complaint and we'll do our best for resolution. However, these are the terms you have to meet. If you have a genuine complaint, get to us ASAP. Make sure it is in writing. Support it with all evidence. 1 second. You're back. Thank you.
Thank you so
Where is my friend?
Going to collect your
Okay, I'm sure I'll see you. That's okay. Look at me. Okay, people. This is the validation I needed that I'm a good person. Look, my neighbor brought me minis. Can you see? Look, I'm going to stop talking about this complaint. It's like, let's be done with it already. Look, you know what? I'm a good person. I am such a good person, aren't I? My neighbor brought me sweet. Look, I'm gonna eat an ice cream and we'll call it a day, okay? You know what? I am the keeper. I am the keeper. Okay? Pro cocktail. I am the keeper. Top it up. Where did you lose your Harry Potter books? You know what? I needed this ice cream to assure me I'm all right. I'm all right. It is affirming my inner need to feel like I'm a good person. Okay? That's all. Oh, Tapeta, I am so sorry. Prawn cocktail. You said, have I tried the GU pots? What is that? Prawn cocktail. I am old. What is GU pot? I know. This ice cream. Look. My neighbor just knew how. I think that is the Lord just going. You know, girl, you'll be fine. This complaint is just like a nothing burger. It is here to test your patience to see if you can uphold your own in light of trials and tribulation. So that's my temptation for Friday. It's okay. We'll be all right. Let's eat an ice cream and move along. Okay? Part of life and learning. So, for me, I had to be clear on my intention, responding to the customer. Now that I have addressed them professionally without stooping to their level, I await a response from them. So we'll see. I'll keep you all updated. And I will post it up. Hey, little producer, Mama is still here.
Oh, still live.
Except here. Here. No, they won't see you.
Yep, snacks are required.
There you go.
Thank you.
And you. There you go.
Thank you. Right,
Albert's mom brought it.
Oh, lovely. Right, let's get some water, Rio. Let's get some... What?
Is that my Amazon thing?
I am so glad you actually ordered that. I didn't know if you did.
What?
Prime.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, I didn't know.
Can you open it, Daddy?
Of course I can. Let's
Is
take
this-
it upstairs.
I was told.
Is this from Amazon?
Yeah.
This is the wrong one.
Yeah, that's
Is
not,
it?
It's not Liberty Prime, but it's still a cool Prime. That's not
No.
the right one, Mama.
No, don't drop it.
Yeah, that's not Liberty Prime, Mama.
Okay, which one? You know what? It's the one we both put in the basket.
Yeah. Maybe Amazon made a mistake and sent you the wrong one. Do you
Yes.
want to see if you like it, or do you want to send it back to them?
If you want to send it back, we can.
Send it back to
People, I'm in trouble with my
them.
son.
Do you not want to
I'm
open
in
it?
trouble. I'm in trouble. I need saving. I need saving.
And then...
Music, I didn't make ice cream. The ice cream was to suit the drama I had in my life. We came to cover a cake. This one. We came to do this. This is what we did today. But, you know, I had some trouble in my life. So I ate an ice cream to make myself feel better. That's where we are at.
Yeah?
She kept on wanting to bring me one of those what I wanted, but I changed my mind.
Yeah.
And Mama made a mistake. So now
Okay.
how am I gonna get my next gift?
Alright, let's go up, buddy.
Okay. I think Amazon brought me the wrong one. I think Amazon brought me the wrong one. So we might have to kind of deal
Come
with
on,
that.
buddy.
Okay, people. I think we will call it a day, and we will be back tomorrow to put the patterns on the cake. Okay? I think that's where we will end it today. Because I get called out today. It seems like I can't get anything right today, can I, Tapeta? Mama made a mistake. I think it's Amazon that made a mistake. Okay? I can't seem to get anything right today in my life. So I'm just take my life and just go. That's all. But otherwise, people, we've covered the cake. I have discussed the developing complaints from a customer. And my response, we still have to make the, oh Lord, we still have to make the patterns for the football cake. And I also, actually, whilst we were at it, I picked up some stuff from Hobbycraft. Let's see. I picked up some stuff from Hobbycraft. Let's see. Lollipop. Yeah, you missed quite a lot. Hyper-realistic cakes are just going to be better now because I've decided to get myself a painter's plate.
Your ice cream now.
Sorry? I bought myself some painter's brush. I got myself some candy milks. More brushes. Hyper-realistic cakes just got better. Okay? Well, sellotape. And then food coloring. Okay? I got Pro Gel yellow, brown, and green. The green will come handy.
Yeah.
I am not sure why YouTube doesn't show conversations. Do you want to check again? Yeah, a good haul. And then I have this palette knife. The palette knife is not even going to be used for painting. Normally, because I transfer my cake from work surface to board, this having something so fine that can slide under the cake and help you lift the cake is helpful. Because if you have something that has a lip, it doesn't sit seamlessly under the cake. So that is why I got this. This is the Deco Melt Whites. I use them. I can color them for different things, more so for drip. I don't make drip cakes anymore, but these come in handy for, say, if I wanted to make a hyper-realistic cup, I can melt that and use that as the mold. So that's why I got this. The brushes are for painting. You know, much of my hyper-realistic cakes that require painting, I've used the same brush. And if you've seen the previous videos, you will see I had to use one brush and I have to wipe it. By so doing, the colors end up mixing and blending, and it's difficult to kind of get clean colors when you transition from one to the next, which can obviously affect the quality of the item you're trying to make. So today I decided to invest in some simple brushes, just so that I can get the best painting experience when I'm making hyper-realistic cakes. And I also got myself a plate that will make it easy for me to kind of mix the colors on the surface and then use that for painting. So that's why, and then obviously some of the food coloring themselves. So that is just good fun and just a little expense over there. I think all of this came up to, say, I think £40 or so. But this will last me a long career, especially for what I want to do. Because I was just thinking about some of my cakes that are just lying over there. And I want to make hyper-realistic things like onions and potatoes and avocados and stuff like that. And those require very fine details to paint and derive the details on there. So that is where we are. But that said, here we are. Let's catch up in the chat. YouTube not showing you the chat immediately. I don't know why. I think sometimes you have to watch. Sometimes the chat is developed the next day, only because it has to take time from a software. I'm streaming through a software which is the Prism Live. So when I end the video, it might take a while for all the details to be on the YouTube platform. I think that is what I noticed, but that may not be the answer to the problem. Okay, but I noticed that immediately after I finish the live, I go back to check the live chat on desktop, and it's not there at all, unless another day. But even so, now that you've said, the last time I checked, I couldn't see the chat. I can't remember. I'll keep an eye and I'll come back and update you about it. Okay? Yeah, prawn cocktail. Yeah. I've thought about making a hyper-realistic onion. It's not that hard to do. You use wafer paper. It requires very fine and technical skills, okay? But it's very simple to make. And that is if you enjoy it. Some of the cakes I make, I do them for my own joy, okay? Not because I think anybody cares about them. But cake as an art form is a soothing activity for me, okay? So some cakes I have made suits me. That's all. Okay. That said, Shrek inspired cakes. You know what? We make the lives have taken a life of their own. If you look back at my previous lives, they weren't as interactive. Like most of the time, I just come get the live done, and you guys enjoyed it. But over time, as we've developed a connection and we end up even chatting more than we are making cakes, it's all part of the process. But I'm also learning how to kind of develop the lives that will bring you value. So for instance, I think when we started the live, they were very sporadic. I will show up when I can and just go. Okay. If you ask Peter and the rest of you who have been here for a long time, it's like I would just show up when I can, and that was the end. And then start February, I made a commitment. I'm going to be here 3 days a week, which was Tuesday through to Thursday. And if for some reason I missed a day, I will make up for it. And I think that's the journey I am on. As we are developing and we are moving into the decorating, which is what we are now doing, I am recognizing that we probably need to do this more. So who knows? I am hoping I can develop this and we can come back on the lives more than, say, once a day. And if we can do that, I can then develop the lives into group or themes. So for instance, the last time during February, we started with these, which was for the Valentine themed. That's why we made the flower vase and we made the flower pot. That was for Valentine. And then I wanted to move to making hyper-realistic food cakes, which is the burger or a Subway or a banana, something food related. And that will run for a little while so that we can have them in session times, if you like. So we have a selection of videos which will form one series and then another and another. Except I just wanted to get rid of my scrap cakes that I am hoarding. So for instance, the football cake fell into the fact that I had the scrap cake. I needed to get rid of it. So let's kind of do the football cake because it was important because of the information surrounding how to derive a football cake well with good skill. Once we are done, Tharpeter's mom nominated a teapot and cup and saucer. So we'll do that. So I think as it's developing, I'm going to kind of create a series where we'll come, it's like film themes. So if it's a film themed, you can choose your favorite characters. So if it's Shrek, if it's a Minion, I've done a Minion before. I'm not making a Minion on a live. I already have a detailed tutorial on it. But whether it's Shrek, it's a Minion, or it's something else, like a favorite character, we can develop those. But I'm also wary that even developing those, I have to also find ways to make it beginner friendly. Some of the character cakes are not themselves beginner friendly at all. And I have to learn how to translate very technical processes into complete beginners friendly form. And that also takes learning. So whilst we're at it, I can only ask that for me to continue investing the time and adapting that time to continue showing up and giving you value requires your support. I really do need your support. I cannot emphasize that enough. But I am hoping that we will grow steady, and as we go, we will get bigger, and some of these things will solve themselves. If I had an editor or an admin person, half of my problem will be solved, because I hate admin. I do hate admin. I don't like editing, but the joy of seeing the edit done and the excitement I feel to give you value is something that makes me sit for that 16 hours over 4 days making a video for you. But the lives are also exciting because I come and I connect with you and we talk about cakes and then we laugh and then we go home. Good day, people. Okay, good day. Auntie, do I have a PO box? Not yet. I think in my head I don't feel like I have gotten to the point where I need a PO box just yet. So no, I don't. But you know what? I'll keep that in my hat. You know, the whole idea. There's a part of me that is excited about all the good things that are in my future. And then there's the part of me that is completely terrified of breaking this wall here. Okay? I am so terrified. Can I tell you? I am terrified. I am terrified of the part where this, because when this is done, this is me. I enjoy being here. But when this is done, I can take the lashes off, okay? Whip my scarf away and be like, and then go out with my hair unkempt, no makeup, and feel at peace doing that, okay? And then I'm completely terrified that even though I dream that this will grow through hard work, giving value and serving, that will be taken away from me, and then people will send me stuff through a PO box and I have to come and either uphold it. It's like holding you to a certain standard that I am terrified. But that's just by the way, people. That is just by the way. I love you guys for the support you bring to my life, okay? You guys challenge me to be a better person. When I show up here, I show up in a way that challenges me to not bring disrepute to what I do here. And that includes my skill, my ability, and more so as and in my character. Okay? That's important. So thank you. Your support is really, really important to me. Lollipop, I've always said you living by the beach is the only thing that is different, because I don't like the beach. I'm black and I'm cold and I can't swim and I don't want the beach, okay? But otherwise, we are so much the same. Like, I take this off, okay? My hair is unkempt. I get a t-shirt, a black t-shirt and leggings. I never wanted to be that person, but girl, I am. And I walk around in my slippers. Like some days I step out to my garden in my slippers, like proper slippers, okay? And some days I go shopping in my slippers and I'm rushing. Did you see the Christmas video where I am running like a lunatic? Some days I'm like, you know, because my life is so, like, I'm so content with life and my life is so fulfilling for me. I want to make progress. I want to grow as a person. There are things I want to change about my life as I'm going on, but I am incredibly content with my life. It's so fulfilling. I have things in my life that I enjoy doing, and one of which is I have a very large group of people around me that I sincerely care about, who I know care about me, and we hang out and we do cool stuff, even if it's sitting down and just chatting away and having a tummy, like a loud belly laugh. It's amazing. So when you have that sort of contentment in your life, you don't care about the perfection. Half of this is effort. This is the only time in my day, perhaps, and after, because after I've done the live and I've ripped the eyelashes, so I'm like, okay, the slap can stay on for a little bit, but after that I'm like, we're done, okay? When I wake up in the morning, my skin is just what it is, and it's like, it's having a bad day. I'm like, so what? People,
Yes, Daddy's here.
oh, sis, adult life is when you can sit comfortably in your home. After 8 o'clock, let me tell you honestly, I will make adjustment for the fact that after 9 o'clock, please don't invite me out. I want to sleep. Or I want to edit my video through the night. Okay? I don't want to go anywhere. If you need me, I have a 9 to 5 for you. Okay? 9 to 5, we're done. I think I will leave a small room.
Just here, look, no shoes on.
I will leave a small room for, say, if I care about you, you can call me, as my girlfriend, I mean. You can call me between 6 or 8, okay? If you're my girlfriend, as in my lady friend or somebody else. If you're here with me, like if you're this close to me, you know you can call me. But if I don't, I'm not talking if I don't know you, don't know you. But say, for instance, if say in a social group, okay, so say I'll pick an example as a church, right? And then maybe there's a husband and a wife or a partner relationship where we are acquaintances, okay? We see each other, we say hi, hello. Don't call me after 6, especially if it's the man. If I don't have a relationship with you and we are just don't call me. Whatever you need to say, just leave it via text. And I'm not one of those people that says, don't call me, I won't pick up. No, I think I've gotten to a point in my life where I do not care to explain myself and my value system. So I live in being proactive about dangers that will affect me. Okay, so if you're married or you have a partner, we don't have a relationship, if you need me and it's not cake, if it's cake, you know my business number, call the business number, leave a voice message, give me details about the cake you need, or leave me a text message about the order and I'll get back to you. If it's serious and it's an urgent situation that is not cake related and I don't know you and you're a married person, get your partner to call me or leave me a message to say, oh, hey, we need this and we think you're the best person. And then I can approach that. But I don't have room in my life for a random man calling me. Why? Okay. That's all. Okay. Because if you come from where, from my kind of cultural setting, there are certain behaviors that can be completely inappropriate, but are completely also normalized in a way that can be detrimental to a person's character and reputation. And I do not care for any of that. Okay, so if you're somebody's husband, don't text me, hey, hi, even if your intention is great. Don't. Okay, I don't want to hear from you. I don't want to know from you. Goodbye. But then again, that is my value system. So I say all of that to say my life is incredibly busy. I am so blessed to have you guys in my life. I am so blessed to have you guys in my life, and for you guys to just be so supportive of what I do. You will never know how important this is to me. You will never know. Okay? You guys have given me confidence to kind of say the things that I used to fear saying out loud, because I have the validation of knowing that I have people who share my belief system and thought processes and who support me. That is not to say we'll be out here acting wrong and be loud about it. No, we aim to be better people, all of you. My value system is, even though I am making cakes, teaching cakes, even talking about the customer complaint, is to bring teachable moments so that we can all be better people. You guys challenge me to be a better person, to grow every day. And for that, I thank you. Okay? So, for all of you being in the chat today and seeing me eat an ice cream to soothe the ticking bomb that was here, thank you for holding space for me, for being so incredibly kind. Okay? We'll come back tomorrow when the drama is more settled than not. I'll have a cup of tea and then we can finish our football cake. All right? Now I'm going to leave you in the chat. Where is Tapeta and what's prawn cocktail? Where are you going without me? You will not get far without me, you. Oh my goodness. Oh, Chuck E. Cheese. Look at you people. Well, I'm going to leave you to chat for a minute whilst I make a cup of tea. And you guys should be saying goodbye to each other because people, I'm leaving. I'm leaving you. I'm leaving the chat. We're done for today. I've had enough. Okay? I think for you, my dear. Yeah. Okay, darling. Prawn cocktail. See you tomorrow. Okay. Tapita, lollipop, all of you in the chat. See you tomorrow. I'll be back so we can finish this football cake. All right. All of you take care. Irene, we are done. Join the team. Join us. And I'll see you next. Take care. Bye.